Minnesota. Prime proudly presents the Ho-Chunk Casino and Bingo Open, the 17th of 22 Open Division qualifiers of the Brunswick World Team Challenge.
And welcome to Eagan, Minnesota, where this week we had a full field. Teams came from 10 states. One even came from Canada. All here looking to win this title, looking to win a berth in our Grand Championship event. Hi, everybody. Good to have you. Dolan, it's a great holiday, a great soda. We start field 60 teams. Now we're down to the final three, and a very good final three it is that we'll see here tonight. Earl, let's start right at the top. Our number one seed is going to be tough to beat.
Well, they are. The Ebonite Omegas. It's hard to come up with 5 guys any more talented than this. I don't care where you go. The thing is, they haven't won yet this year. This is their 4th attempt. They've been on television 3 other times. They have yet to win an event. Maybe this is their day, but they're coming against some stiff competition. The team in the number 2 position, the hometown favorites, the Linds Lakers team. This team is very tournament experienced. A very tough team. Going to be hard to beat. They're coming up against good opposition in the New Approach Pro Shop. Another very tournament experienced team. So whoever wins that opening match is not going to be a slouch. They're not going to be an easy pushover for the Ebonite Omega team. So look for 2 very exciting matches today.
All right, that's our lineup. We promised it would be a good one. It's very talented. We're glad you're with us. Semifinal match is coming right up.
When do they add the quality to Linds shoes? It's in every step of the manufacturing process. Quality in every step of your approach. Linds shoes.
Welcome back to Cedarvale Lanes in Eagan, Minnesota, just outside Minneapolis, St. Paul, the Brunswick World Team Challenge, the Ho-Chunk Casino and Bingo Open. Our semifinal match, New Approach, our number 3 seed, and Linds Lakers, the home team, number 2. George Hall starts it off for New Approach. First frame, Brooklyn. George Hall, the leadoff man for New Approach, our number 3 seed. They're from Hoffman Estates, Illinois.
Shouldn't be any problem here, Bob, with the opening spare. Go cross lane a little bit with the ball that won't hook much, only the 3-pin.
All 45 years old. Begins things with a spare for New Approach. Now our first look at the number 2 seed. They're from Minneapolis, Linds Lakers, so they sure got the crowd behind them today, and a nice crowd here tonight, also all weekend long.
It has been. It's been an exciting tournament to watch. The scores have been exceptionally good. And the lane surface is very playable. We've seen a lot of strikes. And spare shooting has been very good. That also is very important. You have to fill the frames, as we talk about so often.
Sam Lantto feels right at home here because he is right at home here. Local boy, former Team USA member. First frame for Linds Lakers, and we're off to a couple of spares. Contour Power Grip starting lineup brought to you by Contour Power Grips, pioneers in the finger grip industry. More pros choose Contour Power Grips, and you should too. For our New Approach, it's Hall, Hara, Garrett, Nelson, and Snell. This is our first look at Rick Hara. Second frame for New Approach. Working on the spare and trouble in the second.
Well, a little television jitters maybe. All these bowlers are experienced, and some of them may not be quite the household names that you'll find on our tournament leaders, like the Ebonite Omega team, with people like Chris Barnes and Pat Healey and the likes. But these guys can all play. They're experienced in variety of tournament functions like Team USA and things like that, so they've been around. Once they get a little more relaxed, we'll see, I'm sure, some better shots. Almost picked it up.
Beautiful effort in the second by Hara, but the open frame. Now second frame for Linds Lakers, John Eiss. Their lineup brought to you by Contour Power Grips, pioneers in the finger grip industry. Lantto, Eiss, Hoppenrath, Vashaw, and Savoy. Eiss in the second. Eiss is another Team USA veteran.
You know, it's kind of interesting when we were preparing to go on the air, all the bowlers, you know, that completed their practice, and watching them practice how well they were throwing the ball and throwing a lot of strikes. And then the oil starts to move around a little bit. Now they're going through a little transition. So not only is there a little television jitters to get this first match underway, but there's also a change in how the ball is reacting for him, and they're going to have to make adjustments right out of the gate.
All right, third frame for new approach. Keith Garrett, 31 years old. Now, the numbers on their shirts, for those of you who may not know, indicates that Garrett will fill the third frame and the eighth frame.
Got a break when that 7-pin fell. It made it a much easier spare. Only the 2, 4, 5. With the 7 standing, a lot more things can go wrong. That's for sure. The option here is to shoot it off your strike line and hook the ball into it, but the chances of chopping it are extreme that way. It looks like he's going to play it down that right side. We'll see what happens.
Remember, they opened in the second and get the spare here from Garrett in the third. Dave Hoppenrath now for Linds Lakers, our number 2 seed.
One of 2 left-handers on this team. He and Chuck Vashaw are the 2 left-handers at both the Linds Lakers. And as you mentioned, Bob, it's very important, I think, and I think this is the team you've got to keep an eye on because they're at home. They're comfortable in this area, and they have a lot of friends here watching them and cheering them on. Just that home atmosphere makes you a little more relaxed. Tough spare here, the 2, 4, 7, and the 8. Idea to get the ball between the 2 and the 4 and have it drive into the 8-pin and just let the pin action take out the 7. You can see that pin deck that was just on camera there. Synthetic pin deck, bowling on synthetic lanes, synthetic approaches.
Hoppenrath, oh, nice conversion here in the third for Linds Lakers. They have the early lead, 8 pins. Remember, this is 2 games total pinfall in the Baker system. But Linds up early by 8. Fourth frame, Ron Nelson, 222 qualifying average. Fourth for new approach.
Boy, oh boy, a lot of struggling going on here, and he looked like he was really going to be aggressive with that shot and everything, and right through the middle of the head pin. We'll take another look at it. Here's the release. He's pretty happy with this. You can see he's really on good balance at the foul line. Ball just hooked a lot more than he thought it would. The other players on that lane also getting the ball up high in the head pin. 9 out for him, and they're struggling.
Yeah, you can see the expression on his face as he walks back to the bench. 2 opens out of the first 4 for new approach. Now fourth frame, Chuck Vashaw for Linds Lakers. The left-hander for Linds. There's our first strike of the match, and it's from Vashaw.
And coincidentally, this is his first time on the World Team Challenge telecast. So here's another look at the style of Chuck as he goes to the foul line there, the other left-hander on the team. And great shot. Rolled it right up into the pocket area.
Yeah, he really looked nervous, didn't he, that first time? Anchorman for new approach, Brad Snell.
Look out. Oh, boy. Little unlucky there. Kicked out the 4-pin, leaving the baby split down there. The left-hander baby split is the 2-7. Brad Snell, a very experienced player, bowled on the Pro Tour for a number of years. In fact, I bowled against Brad out there a few times. Yeah. Always a good spare shooter. He's going to try to fit his ball between the 2 pins. Let it deflect off the 2 into the 7.
Beautiful from Snell. Snell's only 36. He must have been an infant when you bowled against him.
Thanks, Bob. Well, matter of fact.
You set me up. Big spare from Snell in the 5th. Now anchorman for Linds Lakers is Todd Savoy. That's 2 in a row now for Linds Lakers. They've opened up a lead here in our first game of the semifinal match. Linds Lakers leading new approach by 32 here in Eagan, Minnesota. We'll be right back. Bob Dolan, Earl Anthony back with you from Cedarvale Lanes in Eagan, Minnesota. First game of our semifinal match. 6th frame now, second time around for all players. And George Hall for a new approach with their first strike of the match. Linds Lakers jumped out to a nice lead here early on, but we're still very early, and in this Baker system, no lead is too big. Sam Lantto, 6th frame for Linds. Lantto in the first frame, remember, with a spare. So each bowler will fill 2 frames for a game, except, of course, the anchorman. That makes it a lot tougher, doesn't it, Earl, when you're only out there 2 frames a game to adjust,
no question,
to make your moves.
Not only that, but after this game, they switch lanes. So you get 2 shots on this lane, then you go to the other lane, and they can change quite drastically, as you know. through the balls rolling down the lane. So even though they practice on them earlier, if you go from one lane to the other, you still have to make new adjustments. That's why the smart teams kind of watch each other.
Linds Lakers leading by 29. This is the first game of our semifinal match. 2 games, total pinfall in the Baker. The winner will take on our number 1 seed, Ebonite Omega. We're in Eagan, Minnesota, the Ho-Chunk Casino and Bingo Open. 7th frame. New approach. Beautiful ball from Rick Hara. Big ball for him, too, because on his first frame, the second frame, he left it open.
And you can see he's really into this. He's running it out a little bit and giving it a lot of arm, and his team's on the bench, and they're all getting pumped up. It's early on in the match, but anything can happen to these. So many of them come down to the anchor man. It seems that way. After 2 games, one team might have a 50 or 60-pin lead after the first game, but it just seems to balance out when they switch lanes. Here the baby split the 310, and you can see he's going to stand to the left, try to get the ball just as Brad Snell did on the left side. He'll fit it between the 3 and the 10.
Well done from John Eiss. Now, many team fans will remember John Eiss. He was a member of last year's Grand Championship team. So a veteran of this team bowling. And Eiss with the spare in the 7th for Linds Lakers. Now 8th frame, Keith Garrett for new approach. They're trailing. Garrett spared on his first frame, and he's got some work to do here in the 8th.
Sure does. The 6, 7, 10, and the idea here would be to slide the 6 across the lane, take out the 7. The ball obviously would take out the 10. Tough spare. All spares have been reasonably not difficult this week. The lane surface is very scoreable, but when you get a shot like this, your odds are about 1 in 20 maybe that you can pick it up.
And he didn't pick up any. So they open in the 8th from Garrett, and the hole gets a little deeper for a new approach.
Gave away a lot of pins on the count there, Bob, and that's the kind of mistake you really don't want. You want to at least get 2 of those 3, because that can be a big determining factor as we go through the match.
Hoppenrath in the 8th for Linds. Got it to go.
Well, he's looking good out there. In his first try, he picked up a very difficult spare, remember, the 2, 4, 7, 8. Now he makes the great shot for the strike.
The lead now 36 for Linds Lakers, our number 2 seed. Ron Nelson, 9th frame for a new approach.
Left only the 2 pin. Shouldn't have any problem with that.
Well, we had some nice scores here this week, didn't we, Earl? Linds Lakers with the high game, 1175. The high game, we had a 300 game here this week. Steve Sonnen from Milwaukee. Tom Kelly Jr., 289. The spare here in the 9th for Ron Nelson at new approach.
Very quickly, the format, in case you have never watched one of our World Team Challenges before, we started with 60 teams, which is a full field. They bowled 6 regular team games. Total pins qualified the top 10 for the match play, which started this morning. They bowled 10 Baker system matches, 2 games in each match, 15 bonus pins if you win a game, 20 more if you win total pins. Top 3 teams you see here.
Steve Sonnen with the high series, 737 from Milwaukee. He performed in the Drilling Enterprise team from Milwaukee. And the qualifying averager, Sonnen again, 232-2, with Kelly Jr. right behind him.
Yeah, and that is not the alphabet on the bottom. That's a young man from Finland that's over here, and a very accomplished player. Mika K, they call him.
We're going to see him in our championship match. Linds Lakers up by 36 here as we enter the 10th frame of this first game of the semifinal match. Remember, one more game to follow this. And it's Brad Snell, the anchor man.
Good style here, good balance at the foul line. Brad stays with the shot a long time, and that's what gives him the accuracy he needs and the roll he wants. Just doesn't get quite the pin reaction that he's expecting, or excuse me, the ball reaction on the lane surface.
Snell is certainly a veteran under the TV lights. 7 PBA national telecasts he made. In fact, in the 1987 Masters, he finished 2nd.
Now this is spread out a little bit. This could be missed, so he has to be careful. He wants to get both of the pins with the ball.
And he does. Snell's league average 220. 60 teams here this week from 10 states, 1 team from Canada. Great turnout.
Got them from all over. They're coming from everywhere for the World Team Challenges. Kind of an interesting side note on the Linds Lakers team that qualified 2nd. And they are They are a 10-person team. Tom Corbett, their captain, is sitting out this week. He's not bowling, but he is here. And he and the players get together to determine who's going to play and who's not going to play. And they've got 10 guys all from this area, and they're all very experienced, as we mentioned before, with Team USA and their bios and things like that. So they go around, they bowl tournaments all over the nation. And it's kind of interesting that how they come about picking their 5 guys for a specific tournament. It's a team vote. Who can play, who can't, who's bowling good that day and who's not. And 10 guys on a team, that's very unique.
It is. I mean, we've seen teams in the series, Earl, with 6, 7 guys, and then they decide right before TV time who's going to play. But 10's the highest I can remember.
Got to rent a bus. Got to get a bus to get them out here.
Savoy in the 10th. He's the anchor man for Linds Lakers. They're going to have the lead here after this first semifinal game, but remember, one more to go. Savoy with the spare in the 10th.
The World Team Challenge rules say you can only have 7 persons on your roster. So they have to make the decision, obviously, before the tournament starts, who's going to play and who's not. And then they're stuck with them.
But it's nice to see that all 10 are here, supporting the 7 that are on the roster. All right, that's the end of the first game of our semifinal match, and our number 2 seed, Linds Lakers, the home team. They're right up the street in Minneapolis. They have a comfortable lead over our number 3 seed, New Approach Pro Shop from Hoffman Estates, Illinois. The lead is 38 pins, 193-155 in game 1. Game 2 of the semifinals coming up next. Linds Lakers, the first game winner, 193-155. Of course, this brought to you by Ho Chunk Casino and Bingo from Eagan, Minnesota. Earl, you did some work down at Ho Chunk, didn't you? A little ambassador work before the tournament began.
I had a good time.
Autographs.
Yeah, sat there for a couple hours to sign some pictures. A lot of nice people, and the staff was just outstanding. Really did a nice job.
Well, we sure appreciate their support here this week in Minnesota.
The best thing they did for me is they wouldn't let me gamble, so they saved me a lot of money.
I'm surprised you went. First frame, second game for New Approach. George Hall with the strike. Remember, they start the second game 38 pins down.
Well, that's the kind of break they need. They need to get something good happening, even if it's luck, even if it could be considered luck. Something started that's positive.
John Eiss doesn't take much time, does he? Gets up and buries it.
You get up there and blink, and John's already thrown the ball. He doesn't waste any time. He does it the right way. He makes his decisions sitting on the bench. He gets up, picks up the ball, puts his fingers in the holes, and away he goes.
Now remember, they have switched lanes here. Championship lanes 5 and 6 here at Cedarvale Lanes, and after the first semifinal match, they switch over. And often we see the first few frames of that second game, the bowler struggling.
No question. They have to try to get lined up on the other lane. Even though they're dressed identically, the oil will move and change the ball reaction. And as you can see, this team is a lot more comfortable on the right-hand lane than they were on the left.
Well, both teams right now in the second game, all strikes.
Here's a look at the style. As you see, watch the balance it's fouling. This is the strength of his game. He stays with the shot. Here he's over the knee. The shoulders are perfectly over his left knee. And the arm comes straight up, the elbow going toward the floor. That's a great follow-through.
Hoppenrath, third frame, Linds Lakers. 3 in a row for Linds in this second game.
Same 2 teams we had in the first game. Remember them?
Yeah. What happened?
What happened? I think maybe they're a little more relaxed.
All right, Keith Garrett, can he keep it going for a New Approach? They've started with a double. Linds started with 3 in a row. Here's Garrett.
Oh, my. Tough luck there. Just didn't get the ball to finish. The 1-2-4-10. And this is the washout. He's going to try to get the ball on the left side of the head pin, drive the head pin into the 10, and the ball, of course, take out the 2 and the 4. It'll be interesting to see where he plays this. Down the middle of the lane, or will he throw it off his strike line? Looks like he's going to go off his strike line. Try to hook it across the head pin.
Just like that.
Easy game, isn't it?
Beautiful.
Sounds like you must have picked a couple of those yourself, huh? Beautiful spare here from Garrett. We're through 3 frames in our second semifinal match. We'll be right back. Linds Lakers still alive for our $25,000 bonus for a TV perfect game. They're through 3 frames. Here's the 4th. Vashaw. Well, for now, they can put the 25 grand back in their pocket.
Well, they're off to a great start. They have a dominating lead after the first game, that 38 pins, and now they're adding to it in the second game. It looks like it's going to be awful hard for New Approach to make a comeback here. But never say never in Baker System bowling.
That is so true. Vashaw gets the spare in the fourth. Now, fourth frame, Ron Nelson.
Watch the intensity on Ron's face as he gets set here. He almost looks like he's gritting his teeth. Boy, he's ready to get up there and do some damage.
Got that quick approach, too, doesn't he?
Yep.
Oh, got it to go. The strike in the fourth for Nelson.
Back to the anchorman, Todd Savoy.
Here's another look at it. The ball breaks very sharply on the end, and remember, he's watched his teammates get up there and throw the washout just before him, so he probably subconsciously made a little adjustment there.
And Savoy leaves the 7. We're in the 5th frame, second game. Savoy, 36 years old, 4-time ABC tournament champion.
That's remarkable.
Yeah.
You consider that how big that tournament is, what a great event the ABC championships are, and there are somewhere in the neighborhood of, I don't know, thousands, I don't know, 50,000 people bowling in that. You got to beat a lot of people anyway to get one of those titles.
Brad Snell, anchorman for New Approach. They need to start making a big move.
Classic style there, Brad Snell. Good balance. Look at that. That's perfect. And the ball goes through the nose. Just not getting the reaction. He's looking down at the pin, at the foul line. What can I do? I threw it right the way I wanted to. The ball just didn't react the way he expected it to. The 4-6-7. He'll go for 2. Throw it hard at the 2 on the left. Try to get it to bounce out of the pit.
And the open frame in the 5th for New Approach. They're big ones. 6th frame for Lynn Lakers, and there's the hometown boy Sam Lantto again. He's 2 for 2 on this left side lane.
And they're starting to look very, very comfortable out there, and that's going to be kind of a bad thing for Ebonite Omegas to come over here and see these guys real comfortable, because we've talked about how talented this team is and how talented the Ebonite Omega team. We're looking at a great match. They should get each other. Look at that one. How about that?
All's 2 for 2 in this second semifinal game also, but they still have a big hole to climb out of. New Approach trailing Linds Lakers by 62. We'll be right back. This is the Ho-Chunk Casino and Bingo Open, the Brunswick World Team Challenge from Cedarvale Lanes, Eagan, Minnesota. We're in our second semifinal game, and Linds Lakers, our number 2 seed, currently with a big lead over our number 3 seed, New Approach Pro Shop, but some trouble here in the 6th frame. Or in the 7th, excuse me, for John Eiss. But the lead is a big one, and leaves Eiss the open in the 7th.
Well, he just went for the count. All they're trying to do is fill some frames now and get this match over with. They feel they're very, very good position to go on and bowl the Ebonite Omega team, who is warming up to our right down here on one of the practice pairs, getting ready for that championship match. And they haven't been doing very well this year. This is their 4th appearance, remember, the Ebonite Omega team, and yet to win with a team that is so dominant talent-wise.
You told me a little earlier, as we look at Hara with the strike in the 7th for New Approach, that it'd be hard to handpick five better players for one team than what we're going to see out of our number 1 seed.
Yeah, you'd have to go to the Pro Tour to come up with this kind of talent. They've even got a guy, as we talked about, Mika from Finland, who is considered one of the best amateur bowlers ever to come out of Europe.
Boy, Hoppenrath's putting on a show here for the home crowd. Another strike for Hoppenrath in the 8th for Linds Lakers. Now Keith Garrett, who struggled for New Approach.
Just a matter of pride now. You just want to make a good shot so you can go back and look at this film later and say, hey, that was me. I got that strike just like that.
That's the one he'll replay over and over again.
There you go. Hit the rewind and run it again.
That's right. Look, honey.
And then later on to his children, right? His grandchildren.
Sure.
That was me.
The lead 30 pins now for Linds Lakers. 9th frame, Chuck Vashaw.
That New Approach team, another interesting team, the way they put it together. They took 5 guys. You know, Brad Snell and George Hall are partners in the pro shop business. And they took 5 guys out of the Hawthorne Lanes Classic League, which is they bowl at Vernon Hills in Hawthorne Lanes in Vernon Hills, Chicago, near Chicago, Bill Spigner's place. And he took the top 5 bowlers, basically put them together as a team, and here they are.
Apparently he knew what he was doing, huh? Ron Nelson the strike in the 9th for new approach. Matt Lang in attendance tonight. Big help this week. Anchorman Todd Savoy. Linds Lakers going to move on, it looks like, to take on our #1 seed, and that should be quite a matchup. Ebonite Omega against Linds Lakers.
Well, speaking of Matt Lang, those guys really do a heck of a job, and you just can't do it. You can't say enough about what the ABC needs. They need people like that, volunteers that go out and spend their time making things happen. Tournaments like this couldn't be organized, couldn't be run without them.
Really the hard.
Great college teams bowling in the team challenge. It's a good experience for them.
Well, that'll do it for Linds Lakers, our #2 seed. They wrap up the 2nd game. Brad Snell going to close it out for new approach.
Yeah, I'd like to see Brad make a good shot here and get a good ball reaction just to make him feel better. I know it's been a tough afternoon for him. Look at this great arm swing, good balance. A little better shot there. Still went up high. Just shake of the head. Can't believe it hooked that much.
What a wonderful follow-through he has.
He does, yeah. He's always been a very stylish player and fun to watch. I like to watch the guys with the classic styles. He and people like Dave Davis, Jim Stefanich,
yeah,
Ed Bauer, people with those great arm swings.
Wait a minute, which of those 3 don't fit? Wait a minute.
No, Ed Bauer can bowl. He's tough.
He does look like
He's got his
Stefanich.
ABC Eagle.
Does he?
Mm-hmm.
Bought it?
Oh, you're cruel.
Snell does look a little like Stefanich with that high follow-through.
Nice free swing.
Yeah. Well, your winners, there they are, Linds Lakers from Minneapolis, our #2 seed, and they were very impressive here in this semifinal victory over #3, new approach. They will move on 221-213 in our 2nd game, and they move on to take on #1 Ebonite Omegas. We'll be right back. A look around the bowling world. Stay with us. And now it's time to go around the bowling world, brought to you by the High Roller Tournaments at the Showboat Hotel in Las Vegas. In Tucson, Ron Prettyman of Newark, Delaware, was a stubborn 4-pin shy of 3-game perfection recently with his record-tying .899 series. The ABC recognized Prettyman's performance as the highest series ever tossed by a right-hander, tying him with lefty Tom Jordan's near-perfect 3-game set, shot in New Jersey in 1989. David Eisenberg of Kendall Park, New Jersey, was recently honored at the ABC convention as the Chuck Hall Star of Tomorrow Award recipient. Eisenberg is only 17, but has already amassed a long list of accomplishments on and off the lanes, including High School Honor Roll and New Jersey Bowler of the Year. The Star of Tomorrow Award is named for Chuck Hall, the first executive director of the former American Junior Bowling Congress. Around the Bowling World has been brought to you by the High Rollers Tournaments. Call 800-257-6179 for information on how to enter. Stay tuned, please. Our championship match is coming next. Bob Dole and Earl Anthony back with you in the Cedarvale Lanes, Eagan, Minnesota. We have a wonderful championship matchup coming up. #1, Ebonite Omegas against #2, Linds Lakers. Linds Lakers very impressive in their semifinal victory. Total of 407, winning that semifinal match over 31, and they will start things off in this first game of the championship. They start on lane 5. And once again, Sam Lantto is their leadoff man. Great matchup here in the finals. Lantto, look out.
Well, Lantto is saying, hey, you know, I just got through bowling on this pair. What happened? You know, he got a little confusing there. He was over practicing on another lane while the Ebonite Omega team was warming up on the championship pair, and they threw a lot of balls. They get 4 practice balls on each lane per player. So that's like bowling a couple of games out there, and that'll change him a little bit. Watch this come off his hand, and here's another replay, a replay of that first shot. And watch the ball. It just seems to kind of squirt off his hand here and go to the right. And once you get it out there, anything outside the 5 board is out of bounds. You're not going to get it back from the edge.
Well, here's a young man who has impressed everyone who has watched him. He's from Finland, 28 years old, Mika Koivumieni. And he has a wonderful game. He's the leadoff man for Ebonite Omegas. There's why. You love his second frame. Linds Lakers and John Eiss.
Well, I don't think the Linds Lakers are going to back off against this Ebonite team, even though that they're such a talented team, and they do throw a little fear into you when you come up against them. The Laker team is a very experienced team. I expect them to give them a good match, but they better not dig themselves a hole early here. If they do, they could get crushed.
Contour. Gaines is up next, then Chris Barnes, Bob Goike, Pat Healey Jr. Powerful lineup from top to bottom. This is Gaines, second frame. Koivumieni got him off with a strike in the first, strike in the second from Gaines.
Awesome team, awesome talent.
$25,000, remember, for a TV perfect game.
Kind of interesting, they bowled in match play. Here's John. John's running it out. He's pumped. And this guy's getting over a back injury and an operation, and he's going to be a little more careful. But they bowled 278 or so their last game of the match play, so they were close there.
Hoppenrath.
Something
and
bothered him.
Noise behind him.
Did the right thing. Set it down, start over. He's been kind of a spark plug for the team. He's made a lot of good shots in that opening match, and they need him to get going now to get the team started in the right direction before the Ebonite team kind of runs away from him.
Hoppenrath was a very solid performer in the semifinals with 3 straight strikes, but
oh boy,
here in the third of this first game of the championship, some trouble.
Well, the 6-7-10, and he'll try to just nip that 6 pin, a left-hander ball hooking from left to right. It's going to be a very difficult shot, but it's possible. Slide the 6 pin across into the 7.
Big ball here in the third for Hoppenrath, and they have the open frame in the third. Remember, a number 1 seed has started with 2 in a row, 2 strikes in a row. And our first look tonight at Chris Barnes, the very familiar face.
Watch where he stands on the approach here. Way up against the ball return, as far left as he can get, and sometimes he'll even stand on the other side of it a little bit. The big hook, especially on the back. Tremendous turn and rotation of Chris Barnes.
Looking for 3 in a row. No. Not this game.
Well, there's another $25,000
That's
down
right.
the tube. So. Easy spare, only the 4 pin, and this team, all good spare shooters, young, strong guys, can throw the ball very hard. And I talked to Bob Goike, the Hall of Famer on the team, and I said, how come you're captain? He says, because I'm the old guy.
Of course, Barnes we're going to see at the World Team Grand Championship because he is a Team USA member, and they are in the field already. Let's take a look at the top 10. The Omegas are off to a nice early lead, 26 pins after 3, but remember, it's 2 games, total pinfall, but they're up by 26 very early. Great field here this week in Eagan, Minnesota. Some high scores, some great bowlers. Fourth frame for Chuck Vashaw of Linds Lakers, and they're down early. And one thing you don't want to do to a team as talented as Ebonite Omegas is fall too big of a hole, as you've said already, Earl. Those guys can run away and hide. Vashaw in the fourth.
Well, they in the qualifying, they were very dominant. They just kind of ran away from the field in the qualifying rounds, and then when they got into the match play, they actually dropped to second very briefly. And I think it woke them up a little bit. I'm talking about the Ebonite Omegas. They came back very strong then and said, hey, nobody's going to take the lead away from us here. We want to win. They really want to win this one badly.
I think they made quite a statement, too, in the position round, Earl, with games of 230 and 277 to solidify that number 1 seed. They sent a message out to everybody. The spare in the fourth for Vashaw. Now, fourth frame, the new Hall of Famer, Bob Goike.
Big Bob. Bob can do a lot of things with a bowling ball as well as anybody can. He likes to play inside. You see standing near the ball return where Chris Barnes was.
Just inducted into the Hall of Fame. And the 10. Bob lives in Belleville, Michigan. Runs a bowling center.
Hosted one of these tournaments just recently. The World Team Challenge was at Bob's place. It wasn't televised, but it was a very successful event. Again, a sold-out World Team Challenge, as they all are. The only one I think that still has any openings at all is Kansas City, and I'm not sure if it still has.
Goike with the spare in the fourth for Ebonite Omegas. And now to the anchorman. We're going to see Todd Savoy for Linds Lakers, and the anchorman for Ebonite will be Pat Healey Jr. Here's Savoy in the fifth. Beautiful ball. That may wake him up.
That woke up the crowd. This is the home team, the Linds Lakers. They're right here from the Minneapolis area, and the crowd is definitely on their side. Just gets better as you go down the lineup.
Boy, doesn't it?
Pat
I was
Healey.
going to say, I love watching this guy's game.
Watch this great smooth release, real free swing from the shoulder with the ball, and of course, as I mentioned every time, the great balance at the foul line.
Healey, the anchorman for Ebonite.
Makes you wonder how they ever lose, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does.
They have so much firepower on that team.
But they have lost. This is their fourth TV appearance this year, and still looking for that automatic berth to the Grand Championships. They finished second, they finished third, and another third. Looking for the win here tonight. Lantto, sixth frame.
Well, that's twice he's got it out there in the out-of-bounds area, and hasn't got it back. He's expecting it to hook, and it's not doing it. Little shake of the head here. He can't believe it. He's not hooking it back from there. The washout, the 1, 2, and the 10. He's going to hit it on the left side of the head pin and try to slide the 1 into the 10, and hopefully that's what happened. They need some spares. They got to fill some frames here.
And an open in the sixth for Linds Lakers.
We're going to take another look at that first delivery. Remember the first frame, he did basically the same thing. He went between the second and third arrow, got the ball out near the channel, and it just won't come back from there. About the only guy in the building that can get it back from there is this guy right here. And Mika can get it back from any place.
The young man from Finland. He struck on his first ball.
Watch this. Boom.
Beautiful.
That ball's getting down there in a hurry, too, folks. Let me tell you, he's got a lot of ball speed, and he can still create all those revolutions, get the ball back.
This team is into it, too, aren't they? Our #1 seed, the Omegas, and they're off to a nice start. They lead over Linds Lakers by 49. We'll be right back. Well, Linds Lakers with John Eiss up now in the seventh frame of our first game. Already down big in this first game of the championship match. And Eiss has to get him going here.
They're really struggling on lane 5. Lanes 5 and 6 here are the championship pair for the World Team Challenge, and lane 5 seems to be the more difficult of the two. Maybe when they switch lanes, they can make some kind of a run at the Ebonite Omegas, but they're going to get so deep in a hole here that they're not going to be able to come back.
They did well on this lane 5 in the semifinal. They're over the 2-14 game, but as you said, after the switch, after the break rather, they're struggling on the same lane.
You know, I was talking to the members here, like John Gaines on the Ebonite team, and I asked them, kind of interesting for the folks at home to realize that these guys go through a lot of bowling balls every year. John, he said 40 to 50 bowling balls each year. On the other hand, Chris Barnes, Pat Healey, two of the best amateurs in the world, will go through over 100 bowling balls a year. So if you consider these balls are about $200 a piece, you got a pretty good investment there. But because they are such talented players, they get them for free. The ball manufacturers will furnish them with bowling balls because they like to see the best bowlers using their equipment, obviously. But just consider going through over 100 bowling balls a year. As you travel around the world, you're constantly drilling up new bowling balls to play the varying lane conditions. The new type of bowling balls that come out constantly from the various ball companies, you've got to keep up with them because what was a great ball today in 6 months is worthless.
That's remarkable. A 48-pin lead for our #1 seed. We're into the 8th frame now of our first game. Remember, one more game to follow. The winner of this gets the automatic invitation to our Grand Championship event in Kenner, Louisiana. Hoppenrath. Eighth frame for Lakers.
Tough spare here, the 3 and the 7. Got to slide the 3 across the lane into the 7. He's going to give this ball big hook, try to hook it across in front of that 3-pin and just get enough of it to slide it into the 7.
Great marketing and promotions gentleman from Ho-Chunk Casino and Bingo. Ralph Snake is here. Even participated here this week.
Yeah, they had a team entered. Look at that.
Beautiful from Hoppenrath. Well done in the 8th for Dave Hoppenrath.
Here's another look at it, and this is just about as good as you'll see this done. That's just absolutely dead perfect, and he got a little excited about that and got the team pumped.
Yeah.
And this could be a turnaround. We still got a lot of bowling left. Anything that can get your team pumped up and get them off the bench is going to be a plus.
Like that?
Oh boy,
That'll help too.
These guys just never back down, do they? They just keep throwing it at you. They haven't missed the pocket yet, this team. Everybody else is throwing it all over the place in these first 3 games. The first match was, the 2-gamer there, and the guys were bowling it all over the place. This team hasn't missed the pocket, the Ebonite team.
They seem to be on a mission. I love it after each strike. They're up off their seats, and for 5 guys with their credentials, they're really pulling for each other.
Well, that was the key. They've got 5 great individual talents here. Could they perform as a team? And so far, they haven't done that this year in the championship round. They finished, as you mentioned, 2nd, 3rd, 3rd.
Yeah.
They haven't been able to win. This could be the day. Who knows? But long way to go yet.
Chuck Vashaw for Linds Lakers. They had a 407 in their semifinal win over New Approach. A 193 game, a 214 game. The spare here for Vashaw in the 9th. Second look at Bob Goike, 42 years old. Team USA alternate in 1995. And a veteran of our World Team Challenge Series. This is his 7th TV appearance. Goike, beautiful ball in the 9th.
He come back and he looked at his teammates and he said, one for the old guy.
61 pin lead now for our #1 seed. Savoy, the anchorman for the Lakers. Well, he'll take it. At this stage, they'll take that.
You betcha. Anything that gets them down, we'll take it right now, because who knows? New life when you switch lanes. And they will switch lanes right after this game. 2-game total pin match.
Two in a row? Nope.
Yeah, they went well once too often there. Left the 6-pin, the left-hander's solid pocket leave.
They really look like they've been punched in the stomach, don't they?
Yeah,
Linds Lakers.
They would have been, you might say, the giant killers if they had beat this Ebonite team. And again, it's still not over, and I hate to make it sound like it is, because it's not. But the Ebonite team is so talented from top to bottom that they can be intimidating. This is kind of like going up against Murderers Row back when the Yankees had those great teams, or the St. Louis teams of years ago in baseball. You know, you just didn't want to see him come on the field.
It's a 166 game for Linds Lakers. Pat Healey, the anchorman for Ebonite.
Try to copy this style. If you're just learning to play this game, there's a style you want to copy. Pat Healey, he plays it as good as you can play it. Everything is in the right place at the right time, and that ball just got away from him. I think that's the first time they've missed the pocket. Let's take a look at the style of one of the great amateurs in the world right here, Pat Healey. You can see the slow approach, the evenly paced steps, the arm swing just above the shoulder, and look at the balance at the foul line as he slides to a stop there, everything right in the right position, and he very seldom misses a spare.
The fact, Earl, on such a talented team that Healey Jr. is the anchorman, does that mean that the other 4 fellas believe that Healey is the best of the best?
Not necessarily. What it really means is they feel that on this particular lane condition, he has the shot working the best to get the ball in the pocket area, and if they need someone to throw a strike under pressure, obviously anybody on the team is capable of that. But what they want is a guy that can get up there on this particular lane condition and make it happen. So he's been bowling the best for them here.
Okay.
That's why he's bowling the 5th.
So at other stops, it wouldn't necessarily mean that Healey is always the anchorman.
Not necessarily.
In this group.
No, not in this group. Any one of them could be the anchor.
Right.
Put a little piece of tape in the thumb hole, made an adjustment.
Yeah, sure worked, didn't it? Well, a big margin of victory for our #1 seed, Ebonite Omegas. 226-166. That's 60 pins. They'll switch lanes, though, and see what Linds Lakers can do when we come back. Bob Dole and Earl Anthony back with you from Cedarvale Lanes in Eagan, Minnesota. Our second and final championship game. First game, 226-166 for this team. Ebonite Omegas, our #1 seed. They lead by 60 as we get things going in our final game. The young man from Finland was 2 for 2 in our first game, and he leaves the 10 here to start. Qualifying averages this week at Cedarvale Lanes from our top 3 seeds. Some nice scores. Look, all 7 and 3 in match play from our top 3 teams. Ebonite Omegas, look, a couple of times they dropped down, but then right back to #1.
It's almost like they needed somebody to push them a little bit, give them a little inspiration to get out there and work a little harder, because they kind of coasted through the qualifying. They made it look awful easy there, and they're making it look pretty good right here. And here's Sam Lantto. He's trying to keep the ball in play. He's had a lot of troubles keeping the ball from squirting to the right on him. This one he's starting to hook it a little earlier. Got away with it, crossed it over.
Gets the crowd into it. Remember, they're from right up the road. And they got a large crowd here watching them tonight.
Big John Gaines is coming back from, as I mentioned, some back problems, and he started working out with a very light bowling ball, worked his way back up to a heavier and heavier, and I think he's all the way up to about a 14 right now. So watch what you can do with a 14-pound ball, folks. If you can get this many revolutions on it, you can hook it from anywhere.
Beautiful.
How's that? That's awesome, isn't it?
That's a great lesson, too, to learn from this, from Gaines. I think everybody just assumes, all right, I got to try a 16-pound ball.
Well, we'll take a look at the explosive power, the hitting power that John Gaines creates in the pocket area, and watch the 5-pin go straight back. Head pin goes off the wall and wipes out the whole right side of the lane.
John Eiss with a beautiful ball in the second for Lakers. Well, they've started with a double here in the second game.
Well, they can't afford any misses at this point.
Chris Barnes, one of the veterans in this Brunswick World Team Challenge.
Look, that's amazing, isn't it?
Really is.
He's been, look how many times he's been in the telecast. He's been on here more than we have, Bob.
He's made more money, I know that.
Yeah, there you go.
Barnes with the strike in the third, and they show no signs of letting up.
No mercy. Here's a look at Chris Barnes' ball. Look where it is at about the 50-foot mark. It's almost about the 8 board, you might say, and it makes it all that back up, and Chris running it out. He really wants this one bad. He doesn't want this team here, the Lakers, to get back into this match. He wants to keep the pressure on.
Hoppenrath in the third.
Well, they really needed that one. They couldn't afford anything to stand from any of the players, and that was a great shot. Dave couldn't have thrown it much better than that, a solid 7. But again, you never know. Make your spares, fill the frame, and there's a lot of frames left to play.
Way back in 1978, this man, Hoppenrath, was a member of the National Collegiate Champion, University of Minnesota. Gets the spare in the third. The lead still a big one, 61 pins now. It was 60 after the first game.
Well, a couple more strikes from the Ebonite Omega team, and Bob Goike is certainly capable of getting one of them, would really put, you might say, the nails in the coffin for the Linds Lakers team. And Jeff Lynn, the man that sponsors this team, the Lynn Shoe Company, what a great guy he is. He really wants a winner, and he thought he had one here today, and well, maybe next time, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen this time around.
Of course, Goike's been around a little bit too here on the World Team Challenge. Another veteran under the TV lights.
Those aren't tans they get from being out in the sun. They're getting those from these television lights. These guys, they spend more time here than they do outside.
You know, when they bring their own TV makeup. That
yeah, there you go.
Comes with them. Chuck Vashaw in the fourth for the Lakers.
Well, that shows you how big that 7-pin was that Dave left Hoppenrath left just a minute ago, and they could have continued with that string of strikes. Instead, they stop it, and Pat Healey, just so much fun to watch.
You know, his resume is such a long one, such an impressive one, and he's only 27.
Half an hour to write it down. Took him half an hour to write that down.
He's still a young man.
Oh, yeah.
27.
Concentration in his face.
Beautiful.
He does that so often, it's getting boring, you know?
Well, Healey's been here a few times too, Earl. I mean, this lineup from top to bottom, as we've said, is just, they're veteran.
Good. Yeah, look at that. And here's a guy that's traveling around the world, bowling in tournaments all over the world, and he gets back in time to make a few of these telecasts for us. And it's always a pleasure to see Pat bowling well, which he almost always does.
Savoy, the anchor man for the Lakers, with the strike in the 5th, but they are trailing by 71. We'll be right back. Well, we look forward already to our Grand Championship, the Treasure Chest Casino Grand Championship in Kenner, Louisiana in August. Team members who have already qualified: Parker Bone III, Mike Edwards, Hugh Miller. We're seeing some of the teams that are going to be there, Earl. Some talented teams are going to be down there.
Oh, yeah, and it's been a long, long road, Bob, to get to this point, and we still have a few tournaments left. Some more teams that are going to qualify for what could be one of our most exciting events ever, and I think it's going to be that way. Arena Finals in New Orleans.
Billy Young Jr. is going to be there, Rookie of the Year. Billy Myers Jr., Michelle Mullen, Cindy Coburn-Carroll, Mike Miller will be there. Some great players on some great teams. Only 5 events remaining, so now from here on out, Earl, the teams not only battling each other, battling the calendar. Only 5 more opportunities to qualify.
That's right, and this is going to be one great team right here. Looks like they're going to qualify, this Ebonite Omega team.
I would think they'll be heard from down in Louisiana.
I would think so.
Yeah.
Of course, they'll lose Chris Barnes, you know, to Team USA. He has to bowl with them.
That's true.
So they'll bring in someone to take his place, probably somebody of similar caliber.
Well, I'm sure you've enjoyed watching this young man tonight. Well, perhaps for the first time.
A little different style, but he sure gets the job done. He likes to get it down the lane. He gets it out there in the lane about 8-10 feet in the air. You'd never know it because he's so smooth, but sometimes when he gets to bowling very, very well, which he is right now,
he's over here.
He'll start running it out before he lets go of it.
Yeah. He gets into it.
Yeah, he does.
He's over here now on a 6-month tour of the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the best bowlers in Europe. Why not come over here and try the tour?
Well, actually, he can make more money as an amateur than he could as a professional. And why bowl against the best bowlers in the world if you don't have to? Mm-hmm. He can travel around, bowl all the amateur events across the country, and then go back to Europe with a whole pocket full of money. Maybe several pockets full.
But wouldn't you want to go head-to-head with the very best in the world?
Well, you might if you were looking for glory, if you're looking for prestige, but not if you're looking to make money. There are 10 to 15 guys on the PBA Tour that are just unbelievably talented, and there's no reason to knock heads with those guys when you can make 100, 150,000 as an amateur.
Well, they've got the lead down to 60. John Gaines for Ebonite.
Running out of frames.
Yeah. It was, of course, 60 after the first game with the 226-166. We're still there. Gaines, strike in the 7th. These guys just no letting up tonight.
Just amazing, the pin action. There's John Gaines' record. A lot of experience on that team, I'd say, wouldn't you?
Well, I'll say.
Watch the head pin. Go to the side. That's John Gaines' shot, the previous one we just saw. Head pin did all the damage. And again, that's that great rotation on the ball to bring it back from way down the lane. And while we were watching that, this young man got a strike.
John Eiss.
John Eiss.
Lead 50. Chris Barnes.
Contrasting styles right here. Great arm swings from both Mika and, of course, Chris Barnes here. Mika gets it out of the lane, 8 to 10 feet. Chris Barnes lays it down right at the foul line. So contrasting styles, they both get the job done. He lays it down right at the foul line.
Barnes always has that familiar expression when he does not get the strike. He almost waves to the pins.
Well, it's like, how could you stand up?
Yeah, that's right.
It's an insult.
He stands at the line, stares at the pin, the one pin remaining, and just sort of waves at it.
Yeah, well, he knew he made a good shot, which he did, and more often than not, they're going to fall down when he throws the ball. Quite a bit more often than not.
Yeah. Well, it looks like they have made quite a statement here this afternoon in Eagan, Minnesota. Our number 1 seed.
That's right. Here's Dave. Now, Dave is you look at the Ebonite team, all big, strong guys. Dave is kind of slightly built and everything, but he still gets the job done. He gets the ball down the lane with pretty good ball speed, gets a lot of rotation, and still gets that good pin action, almost carried the 3-pin forward.
We had a 300 game here this week, Earl. Steve Sonnen.
Steve Sonnen's a great player, and right next to him, Jeff Lynn, who was there to give him an award from Lynn Shoe Company. I believe it's $1,000 because he was wearing Lynn shoes when he bowled that. So you guys that are out there getting ready to come to these World Team Challenges, make sure you got your Lynn shoes on when you get here.
Sonnen was a member of the Drilling Enterprise team of Milwaukee, and they were a top 10 team. So Sonnen did well, so did the club. Goike gonna finish it up for him at least, for Ebonite. With another strike. That's 3 in a row for Goike here in the championship.
That's the best he's bowled on television this year in the World Team Challenge. He's struggled a little bit, and he's making some great shots today. They put it all together, this Ebonite Omega team, and they're displaying their ability, which is outstanding, and by anybody's standards.
You think the fact that they were unsuccessful on TV their first 3 times this year weighed heavy on their mind, Earl?
I think it definitely was part of the reason they were so pumped for this one. They look right there behind John Gaines, Walt Maurer. I was talking to Walt earlier, and he said that I said, "You've been traveling?" He says, "Well, not really." He says, every time some good assignment comes out, Jeff Lynn takes the first crack at it. So Walt's had to stay home while Jeff's been traveling around the world a little bit.
Well, they're both here this week.
Yeah, we're right here in the home area for Lynn Shoe Company, right across the river there in Somerset.
And Vashaw will sit down for the evening. And back to put the finishing touches on this most impressive victory is Pat Healey Jr. Lives in Niagara Falls, New York. 1994 U.S. Amateur Champion. He'll be in the World Cup in November representing the United States.
There you go.
They're going to be there.
They're going to be there.
You'd have to, I would think, Earl, put them right up there with the.
Oh, they're going to be one of the favorites.
Yeah.
No question, yeah. And the folks that are down in that area of the country, and or if you don't, even if you're not, come on in to the arena finals. You're going to love it. It's going to be a lot of fun watching some of the best bowlers in the world, professional and amateur, perform in a team challenge atmosphere.
Yeah, that arena setting too. I look forward to that. I mean,
it's going to be some screaming and hollering in there.
There will be big crowds, and they'll get into it.
Yeah, and what better place to go than New Orleans for something like this, especially the Treasure Chest Casino being there, and chance to win some easy money.
For you, maybe. Well, Healey, not bad, huh? Finishes with 3 in a row, and not bad for this team. After their 226 first game, a 249 here in the second game.
And winning never gets old. As you can see by the expression on their faces, they're very happy, they're thrilled. These guys have won tournaments all over the country, all over the world, as a matter of fact. But they came together as a unit today, and they showed how good they can play, not only as individuals, but as a team. And a great showing by the local players, the Linds Lakers, the hometown favorites. They did extremely well. They have nothing to be ashamed of. You see the good sportsmanship that goes on in the World Team Challenge, the little slap of the hands, nice going, guys.
I'm not sure anyone could have beaten Ebonite tonight. I mean, they just seem so determined. They were on a mission here all week.
I agree with you, Bob. That's a good analysis of what happened out there.
So they're going to move on. Remember, as Earl pointed out earlier, Chris Barnes will not bowl with this team at the Grand Championship event because of his commitment to Team USA. We have a 475 total for our winners, Ebonite Omega. 475, 226 in the first game, 249 in the second game. That's certainly one of the highest scores we've ever had here on television. 475, final of the second game, 249, 247, and they win it by 62.
Your champions from the Ho-Chunk Casino and Bingo Open, Ebonite Omega, our #1 seed. Here they are, and what a show they put on. 226 and 249, a total of 475. Chris Barnes, congratulations, first of all. That seemed to be quite a statement that you guys made tonight.
We the lane conditions here were pretty nice for us. We played them pretty well. John struck about every shot the whole day today. And we've been on the show a few times, and this time it all paid off.
Yeah, this was the 4th time. And I wonder if the first 3 were weighing on your mind a little bit.
I'd tell you, we were running out of events to get together and play in these, and it definitely was. These guys came through in the clutch.
You closed out, Earl and I talked during the show, you closed out the position round, I believe, with a 279, 278. And I wonder if that carried over to the TV matches.
We probably had a little bit of momentum. Like I said, you know, if John hadn't missed one of his 6 times for the day, we probably would have shot 300 that game.
So it's John's fault? Is that right?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, the winners here get to bring home a lot of well-deserved awards, and let's bring in some of them right now. First of all, from the Ho-Chunk Casino and the bingo is Conroy Greendeer. Hi, Conroy.
How you doing? Thank you very much. This has been a pleasure all this weekend to be watching these teams and these excellent bowlers. I think we got some excellent representatives from this tournament, and congratulations, gentlemen. Good luck, good fortune, as Ho-Chunk Casino would say, on your trip to the grand finals at, in Louisiana. So, on behalf of the Ho-Chunk Casino, I'm here to present this plaque for your achievement this weekend. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Conroy. Thank you. Jeff Linds, ladies and gentlemen, from Linds Shoes. Hi, Jeff.
Hi, congratulations. Boy, there's a lot of tense moments all weekend long. You bowled great. And just on behalf of all the little elves over there across the river, congratulations.
Thank you, Jeff. And also the general manager here at Cedarvale Lanes, Bob Klatt. Hi, Bob. Nice job this week.
Well, Bob, we're really happy to have the World Team Challenge here. I especially want to thank all of the bowlers and the staff of the World Team Challenge. Excellent. It's been great. We're happy to have you at our facility. Also, the employees, we cannot do it without you at Cedarvale Lanes and Fitz's. Thank you very much for the synergy of teamwork. Thank you for that. And speaking of teamwork, I've got some hardware to pass out to the champions. Congratulations.
Thank you, Bob. Bob Klatt, general manager here. Well done. Earl Anthony with Pat Healey Jr. Earl.
Well, it's been an exciting week for you guys. You really came through in the clutch. We were on a pair here that seemed to be the highest scoring pair in the tournament, Pat.
Yes, it was. We noticed that a lot of the biggest scores of the tournament were thrown on this pair, and that was something we had in mind coming on the show here.
You know, we talked earlier, I'm just going to jump into something else very quickly here. We talked earlier about you guys all being amateur players, basically, and how much traveling you do. Give us an idea what it's like to be Pat Healey traveling around the world.
Well, I don't know, but last year was quite rough. My wife, I don't know if she forgives me or not, but I was only home 15 weeks, so it was quite intense last year.
Now, what happened this past November?
Past November, I won the World Cup.
Congratulations from all of us on that, too. And then you're going to represent the United States again very shortly. You're going to Europe for another trip, you and Mika K here, huh?
Yeah, we're scheduled to leave in about 2 weeks and go to Europe and bowl two tournaments in Europe, and hopefully we have good fortune there as well.
Well, I'm sure you will. With the ability you guys have, it's going to continue on, and we're looking forward to seeing you in Louisiana, and I'm sure that you'll be very successful there. Congratulations again.
Thanks, Earl. Thank you, Pat. Chris, tell us briefly the process of putting these 5 people together. How did this all come about?
Patrick and I bowled in college together, and I met Bob Goike a year ago through Team USA. I've been a roommate here with George Mearshon for a little while, and Pat and I met Mika traveling overseas and found out how good he was.
Yeah, that's not a bad little addition there.
No, we're not complaining.
Well done, gentlemen. Congratulations again. Very impressive here tonight at Cedarvale Lanes. Our winners of 475 total, one of the best TV totals we've had here in our 4 years. Congratulations. See you in Louisiana. Your winners, ladies and gentlemen, Ebonite Omegas.